to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, we start with a look at the green bean casserole and its relation to the holidays. Then join us for a story about the pheasant hunting across the state. We'll have a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with a look at the history of the Thanksgiving holiday. Stay with us. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Welcome to Kansas.
Well, hello again. I'm Frank, and Deb Goodrich is my co-host, and she's out in western Kansas, and we are co-hosts of Around Kansas, which is this program. A program about people, places, and things that make Kansas a great place to live, work, play, and come visit. Well, here we are, into the middle of November already. Oh my, yeah, we're a week away from Thanksgiving. And of course, hopefully you're going to have a nice family get together and people won't be throwing things at each other. And you know, there are a lot of jokes anymore where it's, don't wake up Uncle Frank and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but it is a great time, isn't it? Yeah, pumpkin pies and turkeys and what have you. And of course, there are a lot of community Thanksgiving dinners, and if nothing else, take the family and go volunteer for one of those Thanksgiving dinners. There's one, of course, here in Topeka at the Expo Center that's been going on for decades now, believe it or not. And it's always kind of a fun thing to go and be a volunteer there. And if there's one in your community, do the same thing. So what a way to spend Thanksgiving. So that's coming up. And then, of course, that launches the frantic Christmas shopping season. Although it started so early this year, I mean, all of a sudden, November 1, it's Black Friday, and it's like, well, what? So I think they've kind of done away with Black Friday being that. There are a lot of major stores that aren't going to be open Thanksgiving Day because they want families to enjoy the day. Anyway, that's my editorial for the day. So hope that you enjoy Thanksgiving. We'll be here the day before Thanksgiving and probably remind you of some of those things. We've got some fun stories coming up today too. We're going to be talking about pheasant hunting. That's really a big industry here in the state of Kansas. A lot of people from out of state come into Kansas this time of the year because pheasant hunting in Kansas is one of the best in the entire nation. So we're going to have a story about that. Also, green bean casserole. How appropriate. We're a week out from Thanksgiving, which we talked about. But one of the staples at Thanksgiving dinner for some reason is green bean casserole. Hope you like it. Well, there are some good ones, but anyway, better than broccoli, I guess. Don't send letters. Please don't send letters. I happen to like broccoli. So anyway, like I say, hope you have a very nice Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week. But anyway, stories coming up, and you get to see them after you see this. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
As you join hands around the Thanksgiving feast this year, gathered around your turkey, candied yams, and pumpkin pies, take a moment to express gratitude for the life of the lady who created the real star of the meal, the green bean casserole. The woman who created a Thanksgiving staple enjoyed by millions has died at the age of 92. According to the New Jersey funeral home handling the services, Dorcas Riley died October 15th of Alzheimer's disease. Campbell's Soup Company released the following statement. It is with great sadness that we share the news of the passing of Dorcas Riley, 92, the creator of one of the most beloved recipes in America, the green bean casserole. Dorcas was an incredible woman whose legacy will live on in more than 20 million American households this Thanksgiving. As one of the first full-time members of Campbell's Home Economics Department, Dorcas created the mother of all comfort foods by simply combining two things most Americans had on hand in 1955, green beans and Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. Originally called green bean bake, Campbell's green bean casserole requires only a short list of ingredients, just 5, doesn't take much time to prepare, only 10 minutes, and can be customized to please many different taste preferences. Dorcas left Campbell's in 1961 to be a full-time mom, but returned in 1981 to serve as manager of the Campbell's Kitchen, a position she held until her retirement in 1988. In 2002, Campbell donated the original recipe card written by Dorcas to the National Inventors Hall of Fame, securing the iconic dish and Dorcas's place in history. For those who had the privilege of knowing Dorcas, we greatly admired her humble and unassuming nature. Dorcas would often share that the first time she made her famous recipe, it did not receive the highest rating in Campbell's internal testing. Yet it was her persistence and creativity that led to an enduring recipe that will live on for decades to come. Dorcas lived in Haddonfield, New Jersey, and is survived by her husband Tom, her daughter Dorcas, and her husband Carl, her son Tom, and his wife Judy. Dorcas has 4 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, and several nieces, nephews, and cousins. Take a moment to recall Mrs. Dorcas Riley and to send her family a thought of gratitude this Thanksgiving holiday, and reflect on how such a simple, humble food has become a beloved tradition because of this lady. Step into a storybook Christmas at Lecompton's Lane University, where hundreds of trees with thousands of ornaments bring back the magic and mystery of the season. Have an historic Merry Christmas.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
With nearly 100 years of broadcasting excellence, Ren Radio is now live on the internet playing hit songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Join Jack Diamond, Mac Collins, Les Glenn, Frankie C., Antonio Barber, Wings Callahan, and the real Don Steele for some of the best music ever recorded. Hear it at rendigitalmedia.com or get the Ren Oldies Radio app in Play Store or App Store. And tell Alexa, good times and great oldies on Ren Internet Radio.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley. And here we are again. This is Around Kansas, by the way, if you just tuned in. I'm Frank, she's Deb. And
where have you been?
So, we were just kind of chatting. Kansas has a population of around 3 million people, but there is a time of the year when 100,000 people kind of pour into the state, and that's going to be our next story, and they pheasant hunt.
Isn't that amazing? I was blown away when I saw that story you're about to do, Frank. I was just blown away. Even though I know, living in Oakley, number one, there are pheasants in the yard, and I have never lived around pheasants. I mean, I've seen them, of course, but I've never lived with them. And they cluck like chickens almost. You can hear them out in the fields or around the yard clucking. And there are a couple, don't come shooting in my yard, but there are a couple, I swear, Frank, I don't know how they get off the ground. They are in our yard, they're this fat.
Yeah.
And there's been babies, all season, all year long out in the middle of the road. And they're just,
Well, and also as a motorcycle rider, the thing is pheasants are a hazard out on those back roads, because all of a sudden you see something out of the corner of your eye and you go, oh, don't hit my windshield, please.
That's just like the road runner. Just,
yeah,
just zipping across there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're big enough to, it's not like a hummingbird hitting the windshield, is it?
No, it's not. They can knock you over. So.
Well, pheasant season, I think, started for youth a few days ago, and for the adults starts this weekend, so it's a timely story.
Yeah. Considering we are the third or fourth ranked pheasant hunting state in the nation, it may seem strange that the colorful bird is not native to Kansas. Perhaps the most popular game bird, according to Wildlife and Parks, the ring-necked pheasant was introduced in 1906. 3,000 birds were let go in 84 counties, and what a spectacle that must have been. One little boy, upon seeing his first pheasant in the wild, ran home to tell his mother he had seen a baby dragon. Pheasants quickly adapted, and the first hunting season was opened in 1917. Pheasant season was inconsistent until 1982. The species are so entrenched that annual harvests range from more than 400,000 to more than 800,000. Hunting is big business in Kansas, and pheasant season draws anywhere from 110,000 to 150,000 hunters annually. Only the males are harvested, ensuring the population will remain strong. Wildlife and Parks monitors pheasant populations through 4 different surveys at various times of the year. Even rural mail carriers are asked to share their observations of the birds, and hunters themselves provide invaluable feedback. Each of these surveys provides range-wide and regional indices to annual change and long-term trends. But the best indicator for a good pheasant season is a good wheat crop.
Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.
This week is the Tarwater Farm and Home 40th Anniversary and Annual Key Days sale. All Key and Polar King items are on sale. Work is tough, Key is tougher. Viv overalls, insulated overalls, jeans, denim shirts, insulated jackets and coats, and so much more. Enjoy free popcorn and find 40th Anniversary sale savings store-wide. Get your Christmas shopping done early. This week, the 40th Anniversary Key Days sale at Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except for when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulder sure hurt. I kept waiting, and it didn't get better, and so I went to an orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And said, well, we'll have to do surgery. I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio. Gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
I'm proud to say that my daughter is a veterinary student at Kansas State University, and as a result, I've been able to learn some things too. This is a term she shared with me. The poem is entitled Zoonotic. Us boys were working cattle one day in early spring. Our veterinarian watched carefully, checking everything. Our vet is a terrific guy for all these operations. He was preg checking cows and giving vaccinations. We moved in a bunch of cows at the boss's direction when the boss spoke up and said, "Hey doc, I've got a question. What is zoonotic?" he said. I saw that word while reading about possible diseases in a herd. Well, doc replied, it's something we're not often seeing. It's a disease that transfers from livestock to a human being. We watch this very carefully with diagnosis or a blood sample in case a germ jumps from monkey to a human, for example. Doc continued to explain as we got the cattle headed till we had just one cow left. But it was the cow I dreaded. This old cow was ornery, had a mean streak a mile wide. She was tossing and a-kicking, all snorty and wild-eyed. Young Billy tried to head her in, but as he got in close, she turned her head and kicked him right into a fence post. The other cowboys pushed her in and got her in the chute, while Billy cussed that angry cow and kind of nursed his wound. Old Doc gave him some vet wrap for where he broke the skin. That tickled our old boss, and he got a little grin. He said, "Doc, you're an expert on disease and antibiotics. Would young Billy's ailment be considered zoonotic?" Doc said, well, in one sense, as anybody sees, young Billy might be called a victim of mad cow disease. Happy trail.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This is one of my favorite bits that I make. The name I give this bit is a derby bit. I had a roan head horse that was running through the bridle with the chain bit, and I made this bit here. It really worked good on that horse. I sent this bit to Donnie McNeese, who breaks in cattle for Jeff Smith and Ike Cox, and I said, ride this bit on a lot of horses, see how you get along with it. They did. He said, Bull, that's really a good bit. Fits a lot of horses. Then I give this bit to my good friend Brent Wright, who I make bits for. And I said, see how this bit will work on a reining horse. I call him up a couple months later. I said, Brent, how you get along with that bit? And he said, good. He said, you don't need it right this minute, do you? And I said, no. He said, good, because I'm down here in Texas and I just won a big futurity riding that bit. And when Brent got home, he gave me the buckle that he won the futurity with. I'm really proud of that buckle that Brent Wright gave it to me, and also that he got along so good with my bit.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Are your cows practical or profitable? If you want them to be both, come to the Dale Banks Angus Bull Sale Saturday, November 17th near Eureka, Kansas. Selling 140 yearling and coming 2-year-olds who have spent their days on the rugged pastures of the Flint Hills. For 114 years, the Perriers have been focused on providing hard-working, balanced trait bulls for progressive cattlemen nationwide. Make plans to join us November 17th or pre-register to bid online. For more information and to view our catalog, visit www.dalebanks.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
When her husband died suddenly in 1822, Sarah Josepha Hale found herself and her 5 children in dire need of a steady income. Friends backed the anonymous publication of a collection of her poetry, and she began to submit stories and poems to literary magazines. Sarah quickly gained the attention and respect of editors of the leading periodicals. Though a prolific writer, she is most remembered for Mary Had a Little Lamb. Asked by a Boston publishing firm to edit the first American magazine written for women, Sarah moved her family from New Hampshire to Boston in 1828. She applied scrupulous editorial standards to the ladies' magazine, accepting only original material and soliciting female writers. When Louis Godey purchased the magazine, she became the editor of Godey's Ladies Book. She moved to Philadelphia and made Godey's the leading American women's literary and fashion periodical for the following 4 decades. Though not a supporter of women's suffrage because of the corrupting nature of politics, she consistently advocated education, exercise, property rights, and sensible fashion for women. She ardently lobbied to have Thanksgiving recognized as a national holiday. It had been regularly celebrated by different parts of the country, but not uniformly. During the Civil War, Sarah wrote to President Abraham Lincoln, and he delivered. In October 1863, Lincoln declared, "I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States, and also those who are at sea and those who are sojourning in foreign lands, to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving,
and praise to our beneficent Father who dwelleth in the heavens. Sarah passed away at the age of 89, and her body rests in Philadelphia's Laurel Hill Cemetery. She is certainly not forgotten, and Carol Lieberman of the Union League Civil War Roundtable portrays Sarah at numerous events, including the recent unveiling of an historical marker in her honor. As you sit down to your turkey dinner, sing a round of Mary Had a Little Lamb and toast the remarkable widow, Sarah Josepha Haley.
Well, here we are in November. I'm Frank, she's Deb, and we'll see you somewhere around Kansas. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
We're the best part of Dorothy Street.